Hello everyone, welcome to the GLIMR 3.0 new user training. My name is Chris Borgia, I'm one of the PMs on GLIMR. And let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm going to talk about what GLIMR is. I'll go over the different training scenarios. So anybody who is onboarding into GLIMR will need to go through these and complete the training scenarios. I'll talk about the differences between first and second approvers, which are also our ad hoc approvers. Talk about our reporting layer, as well as how to submit a support ticket. So what is GLIMR? Well, GLIMR stands for Giveaway, Loaning, Inventory Management, and Requests. It's managed and built by the device operation team and was built for Tablet Expedite as well as the device seating leads. We use GLIMR for three main purposes. The first is inventory management, and GLIMR inventory is mainly devices, accessories, and sometimes even software. It's also used for request management, so system users can manage the requests coming in for the assets, as well as for reporting, so we can report on the ROI of our loans and giveaways. Let's look at the training scenarios. And again, so anyone who is onboarding into GLIMR needs to go through these training scenarios before they can have access as a system user in production. And so I'm going to cover high level, basically the main areas of the training. So at first we'll talk about the group management page. So let's go ahead and go on over to GLIMR. Right now I'm in the UAT environment, and we want to go to the group management page. So you'll have permissions here. When you're being onboarded onto GLIMR, support will give you permissions to UAT to go through the training. So for example, let's go to group management. And here we'll then select the subsidiary that our group is under. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use Z-Test. And after that, we'll choose a group. Now notice here I have a private group and then public groups. Because I have permissions to the private group, only I can see that private group, or anyone, of course, who has permissions. When it comes to public groups, all you need is permissions to the subsidiary, and you can then see any of the public groups. In this case, for the group management page, I'll show you the private group because there's more functionality within the private group. So we'll click this, click search, and then it populates some of the information. For example, the pickup address. So if I want to edit the pickup address, all I need to do is click in this box, and then I can edit any of this information here. The same thing for the DL. Just click in the box and then just edit the information. When I'm done, I'm just click done, and then the settings are updated. Moving on down, we have group approvers. So main approvers are essentially the system users. Now this only populates for the private groups. Obviously, public groups have roll up to the subsidiary, so they will not populate on this page. The business approver is similar to the first approver, the first ad hoc approver. There would be a name in here, or essentially an alias in here, if that person is required for every single request that comes through under that group. And if you wanted to add that person, you would need to contact support and they would be able to help you. Locations. So it's really easy to add locations to a group. All you need to do is click the add button, type in a name. So we'll say GLIMR testing, and click save, and it populates. Now notice here that it says edit. Once a location has been added, you cannot delete the location. The reason for that is a lot of times there's assets tied to that location, so the assets need to stay there. So you can edit the name of the locations, but you cannot delete the locations. If you need to delete locations, then you'll need to open a support ticket with support, obviously. And requesters for private groups. So right now we only have one requester for this private group, which is Matt Okimura. If we wanted to add more, all we need to do is click add, type in the user's alias, for example, V-DASUL, click search, comes up with the user's name, click add, and that person can now request from your private group. And you can add as many requesters as you'd like. All right. So that is the group management page. Next thing we'll talk about are how to add assets. So we'll come back to GLIMR here. We're going to click Asset Management and click Add Assets. Yes, I want to leave this page. All right, so first thing we're going to do is filter down to the subsidiary. Click Z test. I'm going to choose a group. Now when adding assets, it's the same process regardless of if it's a public or private group. In this case, we'll go ahead and just click private. And we will then we'll say GLIMR testing. And now I can add assets for a loan or giveaway. Now when the process here is the same, but you just need to click one or the other. So for example, I'll click loan. And now I have two choices on how I can add assets. I can either add them single, or I can do a bulk upload. So for example, if I do single, I need to choose the asset type. We'll say device. We'll say it's an Acer S7. And we're going to say I'm going to add one of those. Actually, let's just do two, for example. So the information that it asks for here is for all of the assets that I'm adding. All right, so it's assuming that I purchased them all on the same date. If you purchase them on different dates, then you would want to add them one at a time. So for example, let's say I purchased them the beginning of the month, and we'll say that they're each worth $500, and we'll say it's on the 3rd floor. All right. So the two boxes that are required are the asset tag as well as the serial number. And those cannot be updated at a later date. If you need to update them, you would need to reach out to support. Otherwise, you would want to decommission them, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, so we'll say the asset tag is BOU 600, serial number 12345, and for this one, we'll say BOU 601, serial number 6789. All right, once I'm done with that, I can click done. And those assets have now been added to my inventory. All right, so let's go back to asset management, add assets. And let's imagine that we wanted to do a bulk upload, because when you're doing the training, you need to do both. And you need to add at least 10 assets when doing a bulk upload. So we'll click bulk upload, and then here, what you want to do is add your Excel with the assets. If you don't have one, then you'll just click download, leave this page. We're going to go ahead and open this. And now we have the Excel to bulk upload our assets. All right, so what we have here is a welcome page, just warm and fuzzy to give you all the information you need about how to do a bulk upload if you forget. But I'll go ahead and show you how to do it now. We have a manufacturer tab. This just tells you who all the manufacturers are within GLIMR currently. We also have a model tab that shows you all the models that we have within GLIMR. If you want to add a new manufacturer, you just click this tab, type in the name, and type in the asset type. The asset type is either going to be device, accessory, or others. All right, others is typically like software. If you want to add a new model, then you just click the new model tab and then just type in all of the information here. Now, if you see red at the top, that means this information is required. All right, if it's not red, for example, if it's black, that information is not required. And when you do the bulk upload, if you don't enter in this information, but you've entered in some of this other information, it'll come up as an error and you'll need to redo it. But the tab that most users will use is the new assets tab. All right, so for example, let's imagine we also want to add an Acer S7. So we're going to go to device, asset tab, we're going to do BOU 602, serial number 111, manufacturer being Acer, model being the S7, purchase date, we'll say we purchased this first day of the month, so that would be next year. Location details, again, we'll just say 3rd floor. We'll say the value is $500. And none of this other information is required, so we won't enter that in. Now, what a lot of users do is they go ahead and just copy this information here. Right click, copy. And then when you paste, Brock from support recommends that you right click and then do paste values. Sometimes users have issues when they're copying and pasting. Either they're copying it from Word into Excel, and there just ends up being different values that get added, and there ends up being issues with the upload. And so we just ask that when you do paste it, you just do the paste special values, and there usually is never any issues with that. All right, so we'll go ahead and paste special values. Special values. Because you're going to want to do 10 of these. Okay, and then of course you'll update the serial number for each of these. In this case, I'm just making these up. What's important to keep in mind is that you keep track of the asset tag, because you will need the asset tag as a system user to approve requests. Right. And then we'll update each of these. So you definitely want to keep your asset tag handy at all. Your asset tags handy at all times. And that's it. So this is all we need to do to add these assets as a bulk upload. Oh, that's right. Oh, did not add that. That was a close one. All right. So that's why it's always good to double check. So we want to do File, Save As, and we'll just save a local copy. At the bulk upload page, we're going to go ahead and click Browse. I'm going to find a file that I've saved before. So in this case, I'm going to use GLIMR Asset Template. And we're going to click Done and Upload. And notice down here that it's been added. It says GLIMR Asset Template 6, because I've done this a couple times. Status is submitted. Now, notice over here it says Refresh Excel Upload Status. So I can click this, and currently it still says submitted. If you wait a few minutes and you refresh it, it will either tell you error or success. If it's a success, then you're good to go. If it's error, then it'll give you a link that you need to click, and it'll tell you what was the issue of your bulk upload. All right, so you want to find success before you want to move on in the training. For time's sake, we'll just keep moving forward. So the next thing we're going to talk about is modifying assets. So we want to talk about modifying the status and the attributes. So I'll go ahead and pull up GLIMR again. So we'll go modify assets, and first we want to modify the status. So let's go ahead and choose our subsidiary. We'll go ahead and use Z-test again, and we'll just use the same group, private group. Then you want to choose the asset type, manufacturer, Acer, and we'll use S7. We'll search for it. All right, and then we can scroll down and we can see all of the Acer S7s within the group. So notice at the top you can see deactivate, PC recycle, retire, activate, and donate. So these currently are the 5 statuses you can have for a asset. Now all the assets in here right now are activated. If you want to, you can deactivate it, and when you deactivate it, what this means is that it temporarily removes a device from the subsidiary's active inventory. But at any time you can reactivate the device. A lot of times users will use this status if a device is removed for repairs, updates, or upgrades. and they plan on returning the asset back into inventory, or back to being active. PC recycle means that the asset is permanently removed from the subsidiary's active inventory. It's not possible to reactivate it. This is usually chosen if a product has been damaged, lost, sometimes it can be stolen or it's trash, something like that, or obviously recycled. The third status is retire. This will temporarily remove a device from a subsidiary's active inventory, so it can be reactivated. A lot of times it's used when a device is put into storage. And activate is obviously if we want to bring a device back. And donate, the last one, means it permanently removes a device from inventory, so it cannot be reactivated. A lot of times donate is chosen if an asset has been donated or given to a charity or a similar situation. So let's go ahead and go back. Also, if we wanted to change any of these, we would just click the box and then choose one. All right, so we'll go back to modify assets. Sorry, that's if we wanted to modify a status. We can also modify an attribute. All right, so we want to choose if the asset is a loan or a giveaway. In this case, we'll just do loan. We'll choose Z-test. We'll do the same thing. Now notice here, the asset tag, serial number, manufacturer, model, status, none of these can be updated here. All right, those will always stay the same, but if you want to modify an attribute, you can just choose which asset you want to modify, click modify attribute, and any of this information here can be changed. All right, so if you notice I don't really have any information in here for these, but if you had information that you wanted to change, you could do that, and then choose apply changes to selected fields. And you would be good to go. Well, in this case, I guess we should just cancel. All right, so that is how you modify an asset. All right, so let's move on to creating a new request and requesting assets. So pull up GLIMR here. When we want to create a new request, we're going to click the create new request button on the top left. Doesn't matter what dashboard you're in, whether you're in the system user dashboard or the requester dashboard, you can click that button. And the requester information will populate. So you're going to want to fill in all the information on this page. Notice that the subsidiary information is the subsidiary in which you currently reside, not where you're planning on requesting assets from. Sometimes it's the same, but other times it can be different. Then we want to say if it's a loan or a giveaway. In this case, let's just do a loan. And we're going to do, let's do loan internal. All right. So the first page that we need to enter in is the recipient information. So we'll say that this is Danny Sullivan. And then his information will populate. His job title will say program. And we'll say his location is Bellevue. All right. Next thing we want to do is talk about our activity. So we'll just say this is GLIMR 3.0 training. And we'll just copy this. Business justification. All right. We'll say when we need the assets by. A lot of times users, do this just currently, like they need the assets right away. But at some other times people request assets in advance. We'll just say we need these assets by tomorrow, and then we expect to return them by the end of the month. We'll say the IO number is 12345. Then we can request what assets we need. So let's say we want to request an asset from Z-test. We'll say it's public group 01. And we want to select an Acer S7. We just want one of them. Add this asset. So we can add multiple devices, multiple accessories if we wanted to. If we, for example, wanted to make a request from this group, but we couldn't find what we were looking for, we can always click please help, and we can write a message to the system user asking them a question. All right, in this case we won't do that. And then it shows what we've got so far here. Let's just say that's all we want. We'll click next. And then we want to choose how we want to receive this asset, or for example, how I want Danny to receive this asset. We can have him pick it up, we can have it shipped to him, and we can, ship to me, or ship to them, or have it shipped somewhere else. In this case, we'll just say pick up. We can review the information, our request. We can add in any comments if we want. And then we can click done. And click yes, proceed, and our request has been sent. So now let's look at managing requests. So I'll go ahead and pull up GLIMR here. So now we want to manage the requests that have come into GLIMR. All right, so as you can see here, we have different statuses. For example, submitted, approved, ready for pickup, checked out, attention needed, closed. Ideally, if somebody just submitted a ticket, it's going to be in the submitted status. A lot of times, though, we also want to use the request management, and I would highly suggest that you use the request management to manage the requests that come in. And so in this case, I'll uncheck all of these. I'll go ahead and find the one that we just did, which was in this public group here, and we'll filter down here. I'll go in to have them show the newest ones. Just do that. And at the bottom we can see GLIMR 3.0 training, request ID 230. So this is the one I just did earlier, and actually I can go ahead and approve my own request. We do ask that the requesters and the system users are different in GLIMR, but for the training purposes I'll just go ahead and approve my own request here. So I'll go ahead and click on this request. I can see what the request was. And then I'm going to click the action summary. All right. And if you're doing the training, you need to go from approved all the way down to close to be able to submit this successfully. And you need to go through each of the different situations. You can't just click close and be done. So what we're going to do here is click approve decline. In this case, I'm going to approve this request. And what I'll do is click this one. And I can look to see so the user reserved it from this group, public group 01. We get to choose as the system users what location we want to pull from. In this case, I'm going to pull from test location 01. So I'll just approve one of these. Now I can also add an ad hoc approver as a first approver or second approver. I'm going to talk about those a little bit later today, or a little bit later in the training, so we'll hold off on those. And I'm just going to click approve one and click approve an email. And now it lets the user know that I have approved their request. And then I need to go back into the tool on the correct time and reserve the asset. And so let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to click reserve. I'm going to choose what asset from the request I want to reserve. I don't have to reserve all of the assets at the same time. I can do them one by one. So in this case, I'm going to click this one. I'm going to click reserve over here. And now I need to enter in the asset tag. All right, so as you saw, we had 39 available. I can enter in any of those 39 asset tags. All right, so we're going to choose BOU 550 and click reserve. All right, so then it populates my serial number, etc. And I click reserve and done. And I am done there. Now, I can unreserve this at any time. All right, but what this just means is that I've reserved the asset for this request. That doesn't mean that it's sent the asset to the user. The user gets the asset once it's been checked out. All right, so I can unreserve this if maybe I wanted to use a different asset or a different asset tag, etc. So now I'm going to go ahead and check this out. Choose this asset and click checkout. I'm going to sign this here. We're going to go ahead and assume that my signature is great and click accept. and now it's checked out. All right, and once we have the assets back, I can then go ahead and check it back in. So we'll go ahead and check this in now. So I just wanted to, so what I did there was I checked which asset tag I actually wanted to check in. I didn't have to check in all of the assets. In this case, there was only one, so it's done. I'm going to click check in. Oh. Oh, sorry, that's already done. We'll go back to the action summary here. You can see I checked it in. And then the last thing we want to do is go ahead and close out this request. So I'll click close. I'm going to type in GLIMR 3.0 training. All right, just click save and close, and we're done. And that is all you need to do for the onboarding and the training to have system user rights. Let's go ahead and talk about first and second approvers. And I'll go ahead and pull up where first and second approvers are in the tool so you can go ahead and see what I'm talking about. All right, and we can just use any request. We want to use the submit one that's in submitted status, so we'll just go ahead and use this one here. We'll click action summary, approve, decline, and then we want to click on the asset that's being requested, and we can choose what group and location we want to pull from. In this case, we only have one option, and if you notice to the right, we have first approver and second approver. Now I want to talk about these. The purpose of the first approver is to be a business approver, and actually soon we're going to be changing the name from first approver to business approver, so you can expect to see that. And the business approver essentially approves what group and location it comes from. They're also approving the device at the same time. The second approver, and we're going to be changing that name to device approver, they only approve the device. So they're not approving the quantity, they're not approving what group and location it comes from, they're only approving the device. So the notification that gets sent to the first and second approver is actually the same, but when they open it up, it just gives them either the option of choosing the group and location or choosing. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and just do the first approver, and I'm going to go ahead and make it to me. So we'll do GLIMR 3.0 training. I'm just gonna send this to myself. Okay, and I can send it to myself as a second. Actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and do that. We'll show both of them. All right, and we're gonna. I just want to approve one of these because only one was requested, and we'll approve an email. At this point, this request becomes partially approved, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the email that got sent to my inbox. Here was the notification that I received. It actually says here, please note you're the first and second approver on this request. So if it was only a first approver, then I would just get that notification. If I was only the second approver, then I'd get a second approver notification. Click here. And here as the first approver, I am approving essentially the group, the location, etc. I'm going to approve one. I can add in comments if I'd like. As the second approver, notice I'm only approving the device. So I'm the device approver. I'm looking at, okay, they want a Nokia, they want this model. All right, I can add in comments. Great. And click save. You gotta click the green checkbox first and click save. And notice how this request status is now approved. So the first approver approved, second approver approved, and now an email will kick off letting them know that their request has now been approved, and now it can be reserved. All right, so that is how you approve as a first and second approver. Now, reoccurrence. You can have a first or second approver as an ad hoc approver. So what you saw today, essentially, I chose myself as an ad hoc approver to approve. But if you would like to have just a business approver as a first approver every single time, or maybe you want a device approver as the second approver every single time, you just need to contact support, and they can make it so every time somebody requests from a specific group, it goes to that approver to approve. Let's go ahead and move on to reporting and the reports that we have within GLIMR. So all Excel reports are updated in real time using production data, which is refreshed at 5:30 Redmond time every day. And we have two types of reporting options. We have the asset availability report, which I'll go ahead and show you right now. So I'll pull up a GLIMR. Click this. So here we can click this for reports, or we can click asset management and click asset availability reports. Then you want to put in your sub, and then click the asset type, and then you can filter down by the other specifications here. The purpose of this report, it basically allows you to filter down by sub, group, and location to the assets that are available. You can choose the start and end date that you need an asset to see, if it will be available during those times. And then also you can actually export your availability map into Excel. And then all the rest of our reports are in Excel. So let's see all content here. And so I'll just go through these reports one by one. We have 10 or 11 reports in here, and let's kind of talk about them. So the assets checked out, it's essentially details for assets checked out during a specific date range. Asset history, it's all asset requests and inventory activities within a given date range by sub, group, and location. And asset inventory, basically the details of current asset inventory by subsidiary regardless of assets' current availability for reservation on a request. All right. Monthly dashboard, monthly inventory and request counts for devices by aggregated at the subsidiary and area levels. Outstanding documents are all GLIMR requests that have no signed or downloaded agreement document. This is only for external loan and giveaways. All right, requests due. Between the dates selected, you may see all requests due back during that specific time. All right, let's look at here request history. As it sounds, within a sub, group, and location, you may see all requests that have been previously made. And requests pending fulfillment. Between the dates selected, you may see what requests are scheduled for fulfillment. Inventory audit support. Again, between the dates selected, you may see total inventory counts and a summary of asset changes. And the last one, requests and document links. Break down all of the signed and uploaded documents for specific requests within a subsidiary and group. All right, so those are our main Excel reports. Lastly, we'll talk about how to submit a support ticket. Previously, you could submit a support ticket by just emailing glimrsup@Microsoft. But moving forward, we want to be able to submit support tickets, or we'd like you to submit support tickets through the tool. And so I'll go ahead and show you how to do that now. You can open up GLIMR, and you can open up any dashboard, whether it's the requester dashboard or the system user dashboard. You just want to go down to the bottom here and click Contact Support. You're going to enter in the subject. So this will be the subject line in your email. So we'll just do GLIMR 3.0 training. And then your comments. So your comments are essentially the issues that you're having. So feel free to write in as much detail as you'd like. We'll just say GLIMR training is fun. And then with file upload, you can only upload one file. So if you have multiple files that you need to upload, it just asks that you combine those files into one and upload those. And if you want to add anyone or CC anyone on your support request, you can just click Add, enter in their alias, search. They'll come up with their name. If that's the right person, just click add. You can add as many people as you'd like. And that is essentially how to submit a support ticket. You'll click submit support ticket. It'll ask you to please wait, then it'll pop up letting you know that it has successfully submitted. And you'll get a notification in your email letting you know that you successfully submitted a ticket, and then support will contact you shortly with your support request. The only time you wouldn't ever use this is if maybe the tool was down and you couldn't access the support page in the tool, and if that's the case, then you'll just want to email my alias directly. Other than that, all support requests should go through the tool. Just allows us to keep track of the requests easier as well as respond to you faster. So that concludes the support section of the training, and it also concludes our GLIMR 3.0 training. So thank you for your time and listening. If you have any other further questions, please feel free to contact support by submitting a ticket. Thanks. Have a great rest of your day.